Hi everybody. I just wanted to do a quick video. It's rained all week, so I don't really have anything photographically to show, but one thing I did run into this week, um, and actually I ran into the issue during the last video. Oh, I'll probably put it in here. Yeah, I'll find out later. So, it didn't really matter. Um, I probably should start with what I'm talking about. Um, so gear matters. Now, a professional, yes, can work with gear that they're not necessarily used to working with. They can work with cheap gear. You don't have to have an expensive camera to get good results if you're willing to put in the work and work around it. And also, what comes into play is what the requirements of the work that you're doing are. Because let's face it, some cameras, my little Leica 109 only had 12 megapixels. So if I needed to do any cropping at all, there was nothing that I could do with that camera in terms of a professional work. So gear matters. Big case in point, I had an SD card reader, and I have not shot my Leica M11 very much. And my Hasselblad, I transfer pictures directly from the camera using a USB-C cord. So the last set of pictures that I took, I finally ejected the SD card, put it in the card reader that I had, and it took forever for those pictures to transfer to my computer. And they transferred at a rate of 15 megabytes per second. And I was looking at that, I was like, well, let me see if I can look at maybe a USB-C SD card reader. And I started looking into it, and it's like, oh, a new card reader for $10 reads at 600 megabytes per second. It was only $10. So, that's a huge difference in transfer speed. Now, granted, the old card reader I bought probably 20 years ago. I actually bought it for my first digital camera, my Canon 10D to use. 6 megapixel camera. And even the 24 megapixel cameras, while that card reader, granted it was a little slow, it wasn't noticeable. So it worked fine. Now it did on occasion, if I had a lot of pictures, like my monochrome Leica 24 megapixel camera, it did take a while to transfer those pictures, but it wasn't, I thought it was just because it was a lot of pictures. Well, because I wanted to make the video, I only had maybe 20 pictures on the Leica M11. But 60 megapixel images took a lot longer to transfer than I was expecting or wanted. So yeah, I bought a new SD card reader. So yes, gear matters a lot. Anyway, that was the main purpose of this video. A secondary issue, I'm going through watching my various the photography channels and the ones I'm subscribed to, and then I also look at my feed because I get suggested ones, and one of the suggested ones is an individual who commented that they had made $3 million in their photography business in sales. Now on the surface that sounds really good. The reality is they have been in business almost 28 years. Well, if you start multiplying that out, that's just slightly above $100,000 on average per year but that's in sales. That's not how much money they took home. You have to take out cost of equipment, taxes, business fees, travel expenses. I believe in this individual's case, they also had the expenses of the materials that they were providing because by their own admission, they don't like delivering digital files. So you're looking at, let's say, subtract 40% of that. Well, that means you're making only an average of roughly $60,000 a year take home. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but to put this in perspective, I take home a lot more than that. So it, like I said, it's just, I don't know. I think sometimes people get a little full of themselves. I am guilty of that sometimes as well. But I'm also self-aware enough to go, hey, I need to kind of chill out on some things. So, but you know, it's, you just have to be careful. And when you're putting things out there, make sure you put the right amount of context around your statements. Making a statement that, you know, had $3 million in sales over your career. If you've been in business for 10 years, that's impressive. If you've been in business for 30 years or near 30 years, that should be expected. If you've been in business that long, that you would have kind of that total, you know, just saying. It's so having things in the correct context is very important. Anyway, just my little rant. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good week. I hope you have a good week next week. And next week's my birthday, so I don't know if I'm going to post anything. But since the weather's improved, maybe I'll get outside and get some nice pictures. So thank you for watching. And if you really like this channel, please like and subscribe. Would appreciate it. Bye.